Hey guys, so I'm currently recording on my cell phone right now only because my camera is dead. I didn't really prepare for this, but I know I haven't posted in a long time. So I am actually going to be doing a scary story reading for you. And I know some of you might think that it's kind of stupid and stuff. Sorry if the lighting's kind of messed up where I'm in my office right now. And I'm also wearing a hat, but I did go to the gym, so that's kind of why I'm like, my hair's a mess, and I put on a little bit of makeup so I didn't look completely gross. Anyway, so I'm going to be reading the stories off of my home computer. So if you see me looking up a lot, that's what I'm doing. I'm reading the stories to you. So in particular, this is on Esquire.com, and it's an article by Matt Miller, and it was done October 29th of 2015. So it's a few years old. So if you guys have heard these, I apologize, but I found them pretty interesting. So I'm going to read a few of them to you. Yeah, and if you want more videos like this, then just like my stuff, comment, subscribe, give me some love. Yeah, and I'll continue to do some of this stuff. And like I said in my other videos before, it's going to be a lot of stuff like, beauty reviews and life and stuff like that. And I might do some like videos where I'm pretty vulnerable, because I'm a pretty vulnerable person. I'm pretty open, and I like to say how I'm feeling. And if you guys ever need anybody to talk to, I'm here. Like, I've been there. My family's gone through a lot recently. So yeah, if you guys ever need anybody to talk to, then just let me know. Okay, so I'm gonna get started. So like I said, this article is on Esquire.com, and it's called 5 Terrifying but True Horror Stories Reported in the News by Matt Miller, October 29th, 2015. So like I said, since they were reported in the news, you might have heard of some of these. So let's get it going. Okay, so this one is called An Exorcism in Indianapolis. And it says, last year the Indianapolis Star published a lengthy report on a family terrorized by 3 children allegedly possessed by demons. The account of Latoya Ammons, I believe, and her family tells disturbing stories of children climbing up the walls, getting thrown across rooms, and children threatening doctors in deep, unnatural voices. It would seem like something straight out of a movie, a work of fantasy, except all of these accounts were more or less corroborated with nearly 800 pages of official records obtained by the Indianapolis Star and recounted in more than a dozen interviews with police, DCS personnel, psychologists, family members, and a Catholic priest. It's pretty disturbing. One of the more chilling sections of the report includes a segment about the possessed 9-year-old. According to Washington's original DCS report, an account corroborated by Walker, the nurse, the 9-year-old had a weird grin and walked backward up a wall to the ceiling. He then flipped over Campbell, landing on his feet. He never let go of his grandmother's hand. That's pretty gross. The 12-year-old, oh my God, it says another segment of the piece reads, the 12-year-old later told mental health personnel that she sometimes felt as if she were being choked and held down so she couldn't speak or move. She said she heard a voice say she'd never see her family again and wouldn't live another 20 minutes. That's where that story ends. Like, it doesn't give you like an update on it. I don't like that. Okay. Next one. Utah murder-suicide. In September of 2014, a Utah teen returned to his home to find his parents and 3 siblings dead. In a notebook, a to-do list had been scribbled on the pages. The list looked as if the parents were readying to go on vacation. Items such as feed the pets and find someone to watch after the house were written. The Salt Lake Tribune reported it appeared to be a murder-suicide. But there was no suicide note, nor prior indication that they would do this, no explanation. Police could not figure out why 2 parents would kill themselves and 3 of their 4 children. For a year, no one knew exactly what happened to the family or what would drive the parents to do something so unthinkable. In January, police released more chilling details in the case. According to accounts from family members and an investigation by police, the parents were driven by a belief that the apocalypse was coming, an obsession with a convicted killer, as the Washington Post reported. That's kind of disturbing. And sorry if I'm not reading this like in a spooky voice. Like if you guys like that suspense and stuff, I'm sorry. Like I'm doing my best, okay? Friends and family told police that the parents were worried about the evil in the world and wanted to escape a pending apocalypse. Excuse me. But most assumed they just wanted to move somewhere off the grid. Investigators also found letters written by Christy Strack to one of the state's most famous convicted killers, Dan Lafferty, who was convicted in 1984 fatal stabbing of his sister-in-law and her 1-year-old daughter. According to trial testimony, he killed the victims at the order of his brother Ron Lafferty, who claimed to have had a revelation from God. The story became a book called Under the Banner of Heaven. Police and Christy Strack became friends with Dan Lafferty, and she and her husband even visited him in prison. You became friends with a convicted serial killer. So they went missing. So who's to say that maybe they didn't break this serial killer out of prison? I mean, maybe he still is in prison. I don't know. Or maybe he's dead. I don't know. But or what if he somehow got out of prison and they went missing, allegedly? I don't know. It's kind of weird, don't you think? I mean, I'm just speculating. Don't knock me for whatever, I'm just spewing at the mouth here. Don't listen to me. Ow. Yeah, don't listen to me. Okay. This one is The Phone Stalker. In 2007, ABC News reported a series of cell phone calls to families with terrifyingly specific death threats. The unidentified callers knew exactly what families were doing and what they were wearing. The families say the calls come in at all hours of the night, threatening to kill their children, their pets, and grandparents. Voicemails arrive playing recordings of their private conversations, including one with a local police detective. The caller knows the family said what they're wearing and what they're doing. And after months of investigating, police seem powerless to stop them. This went on with Coy Kennel family for months, who reported a caller with a scratchy voice threatening to slit their throats. When the Firecrest, Washington police tried to find the culprit, the calls were traced back to the Coy Kendalls. I'm sorry if I mispronounce the name, but it's kind of an odd name. Own phones, even when they were turned off. It got worse. The Coy Kendalls and 2 other Firecrest families told ABC News that they believe the callers were using their cell phones to spy on them. They say the hackers know their every move, where they are, what they're doing, and what they're wearing. The callers have recorded private conversations, the families and police said, including a meeting with a local detective. So people are, this was dated back 3 years ago, but can you imagine, people can hack into your phone? That's pretty gross, It makes me very uncomfortable, I'm getting goosebumps right now, Okay. So so it looks like this is the last one. And of course, I didn't read the first one because that one was about, oh my gosh, what's her name? Sorry, I have to scroll back up. The death of Elisa Lam, or Elisa Lam. Like, I've heard about that. That was all over the news. So, anyway. And then after, I'm going to tell you guys kind of a scary story from when I was little. But yeah. So, listen to this. All right. So, The Watcher. After moving into their 1.3 million dream home, a New Jersey family started receiving creepy death threats from someone who identified themselves as The Watcher. As CBC News reported earlier this year, since moving in, the owners said they have received numerous letters from the mysterious person, The Watcher. Claim the home has been the subject of my family for decades, and I have been put in charge of watching and waiting for its second coming, Castro reported. The new owners have several children, and other letters asked, have they found out what's in the walls yet? And I am pleased to know your names now, and the name of the young blood you have brought to me. The family was forced to flee from their home and later filed a lawsuit against the previous owners. Ew. That's pretty fucked up, guys. Okay. So, yeah, like I said, I'm not going to read the Elisa Lam one because that was pretty widespread. Like, she was acting weird and stuff before she disappeared. So, if you haven't heard about that story, which is highly doubtful, go on, like, just Google it and you can read all about it. It's pretty disturbing, but anyway, like I said, it was a big news coverage back in 2015 when it happened. It happened shortly after my husband and I got married. I remember hearing about it on the news. But anyway, so, like I said, sorry I haven't posted in a long time, but my husband and I are house training our almost 14-week-old puppy, and it's not going so well. I mean, it's going as well as can be expected. I mean, she is a puppy and she's getting used to it, but it's very stressful. My husband hardly has any time, you know, and with work and everything. Excuse me. And yeah, and I've just been busy with her because it's been mostly me because Drew's been at work. So yeah, so it's been kind of stressful lately. So I'm sorry I haven't posted anything. I'm trying my hardest, but it's hard to edit and it's hard to, like, you know, get content out when I don't have time. So don't be too mad. I'm trying my best, and I will, you know, try to get more updated content to you guys. I'll show you Luna. I mean, if you follow me on Instagram and stuff, or whatever, you will see her on there. She has her own Instagram page. It's called Luna the Beautiful SLB, which stands for Silver Lab. So if you go on her page, you can like it. You know, mine and Drew's pages are on there. And you can follow me on Instagram or whatever. But yeah, so you can see Luna on her own page as well. So you can see her grow up and everything. But like I said, it's been hard because we've been super busy. And yeah, and my husband actually has tomorrow off, which I'm super excited about because we hardly get to spend time together. And yeah, so don't judge my eyebrows because I actually didn't fill them in today. Like I said, I went to the gym. And I know I'm blabbering on and on and on, but I just wanted to be honest with you guys and let you know what the heck's going on and why I haven't uploaded. And I know I've only done 2 videos thus far, but I'm hoping that my YouTube channel will take off and then I'll add more content. You know, hopefully when Luna gets bigger, things are going to be easier for us, and hopefully work for Drew gets better. So yeah, so we can, you know, do content, and hopefully I can have him in some videos if he will even show his face. I don't know, who knows. Anyway, all right, so let me see, what is a really scary story from when I was little? Well, I will tell you this one, and I know a lot of people have, like, you know, like, their mixed feelings about ghosts and spirits and all that crap and whatever. Your view is your view. I'm not going to change it. However, if you don't believe in this stuff, then you don't have to watch this video, okay? But I'm a skeptic myself because still to this day, I really don't know if what I experienced as a child was a dream or a nightmare necessarily. I honestly don't think it was. You know, even though my parents, I explained it to them when I was little, and they told me, oh, honey, it's just a dream, it's just a dream. And, you know, maybe it was. I don't know. But this is one of my experiences, and it's really the only one I've had. So, you know, I mean, I believe in stuff like that. I'm not, you know, I mean, hey, anything can happen. I mean, whatever, you know. But yeah, like I said, if you don't believe in that type of crap, don't watch this video then. So yeah, you don't have to leave nasty comments or anything, you know, whatever. I mean, if you don't believe in it, then don't watch this video, because I don't have time for negativity in my life. So bye. Anyway, okay. So let's see, when I was about 11 years old, 11 or 12, this was back in 2002, so yeah, was it 2002? I'm sorry, I'm all over the place here. Yeah, I think it was 2001 or 2002. So my Gigi, which is my great Grammy, on my mom's side, it was my mom's my grandpa's mom. And we were actually very, very close. My Gigi would always come from Vermont and visit us all the time. And her name was Shirley. And she lived in Northfield, Vermont, which is near Norwich University, if you guys know where that is in Vermont. She lived there all of her life. She had, I believe my grandpa's one of 11 or one of 9 children. I can't remember. I get my grandma and my grandpa confused with how many kids they had. With how many siblings they have. So anyway, so she had been there. She had never remarried or anything. My great grandpa passed away in 1985 from like a abdominal aneurysm. And yeah, she never remarried or anything. She was a fireball of a lady. Like, she was absolutely crazy. And I will tell this funny story first, since I haven't seen you guys and done a video in a while. But she was absolutely amazing, and she was so funny. She cracked me up. My grandpa has her sense of humor, actually. And she was like probably 5'1", this tiny little thing. And like I said, she was like a spitball of a woman. Like, you did not want to get on her bad side. But she was as sweet as can be. But if you pissed her off, yeah, you better watch out. But anyway, so I remember one time my Gigi was getting closer to the end of her life. She was actually in a nursing home. And I don't remember a lot of things, only because I was like 11 or 12 when she passed. I mean, I do have good memories of her, but, you know, not a lot, since I wasn't young, but I was fairly young, you know, and sometimes it can be a blur. But I remember one time we were supposed to go and visit her, and we got a phone call from her the day before we were supposed to go. And my dad I actually answered the phone. And I was like, hello. And all of a sudden, my Gigi's on the other end, and she's like, where the hell are you guys? I have a friggin' pot roast in the oven, and you guys were supposed to be here like 2 hours ago. What the F is going on? You know, you need to explain yourself. Here I am slaving and cooking and all this other stuff, and you guys are just like, you know, you're not even here. I find it rude. So I was like, whoa. I'm like, Gigi. I'm like, it's Ashley. And she's like, oh my God, honey, I am so sorry. She's like, oh my gosh. And she starts crying because she felt bad because she was yelling at her great grandbaby. So that's what she said. And she's like, put your father or your mother on the phone. So my mom wasn't available at the time for some reason. I can't remember, but I put my dad on, and my dad's like, Shirley, calm down. It's okay. He's like, honey, we're not supposed to be there till tomorrow. We're not going to be there tonight. We're going to be there tomorrow. So she was confused. She felt absolutely awful. And then when we got there the next day, she was like, honey, I'm so sorry I yelled at you. You know, that really tore me apart. I didn't mean to yell at you. I was just frustrated because, you know, my brain can just play tricks on me, and I don't remember as much as I used to. My memory's getting kind of foggy and everything, which I understood. She was, you know, well into her 80s, and, you know, I understood she was getting older, which is to be expected. So, but that's kind of like a funny story, but that's kind of like how she was, you know. She could be like a spitball 1 second and then like, oh honey, I'm so sorry, you know. And I'm kind of like that too sometimes. But yeah, so that's my Gigi. But anyway, so the ghost story about my Gigi, which if I kind of get emotional, I'm sorry, but I do miss my Gigi. She was very dear to my heart. I loved her very much. She was the only great grandparent I ever got to meet and know, because my dad's parents died well before I was born. My dad's mom actually passed away 5 months before I was born specifically, and my grandpa died back in like 1974, I think, so that was a long time ago. And even their parents were a lot older. Well, no, I lied. I did get to meet my great-grandmother Farnsworth, which was my dad's grandmother. So I did know her, but I didn't know her as well as my Gigi, so I didn't see her like all the time. But she was actually full-blooded Abenaki Indian, so I am Indian, not as much as my dad or my grandmother, but I am of Indian descent on my dad's side. Okay, anyway, enough diddly-dallying. I'll get to the story. Okay, so like I said, I was about 11 or 12 years old. This was back in like 2001, 2002. My great-grandmother, my Gigi Shirley, had been significantly declining in her health for a few months. And I don't necessarily know what she had, because I remember walking in, and I don't know if it was not a colostomy bag, but a catheter. Like, I don't know if it was her catheter bag or whatever, but I remember walking in and seeing like this nasty green fluid. And I know my mom said that there was something specifically wrong with her liver. But I remember going there to Dartmouth Hitchcock in Lebanon, New Hampshire to visit her when she was sick. And I actually got her a teddy bear, and I told her that I gave it lots of kisses and stuff, and that it was going to make her better so she could go home. However, that did not happen. She died in that hospital probably a week after that happened. So, and I remember one night I was laying in bed, and my brother and I shared a room at this particular time because my grandparents actually lived with us. So what used to be my brother's room was my grandparents' room, which my grandparents' room was like over here. Mine and my brother's bedroom was here, and my parents' bedroom was over here on the top floor. And so my brother and I had bunk beds, but my parents split them so that they were side by side up against the wall. So mine was here closest to our door, and my brother's was here, which was closest to the closet. So I remember waking up like drenched in sweat from what I was presuming was a nightmare. I didn't really remember my nightmare. And I woke up and I just had this feeling like there was something at the door. And me being 11 or 12, I was completely terrified to look at the door because I just had like this feeling that something was there. And like I said, my bed was here and the door was here. Like, it wasn't even 3 feet away from me. So I was, needless to say, pretty scared shitless. So I, got my wits about me and I looked at the door, and I shit you not, my great-grandmother was standing there in a hospital gown looking right at me. And I was kind of taken aback because I'm like, holy shit, like, wait a minute, why is my grandmother standing here? Like, she's supposed to be in the hospital like over an hour and a half away. Like, what the hell? Like, is she better now? Like, is she visiting us? Like, and my parents didn't tell me about it? Like, and why is she still in a hospital gown if that's the case? I mean, my mind was going a mile a minute at this point. I was confused. I had no idea what was going on. So my brother's still sound asleep, and this is going on. And I looked at her, and I'm like, Gigi? I'm like, are you I'm like, what's going on? Are you okay? She didn't say a word. Complete straight face, stone face. And she pointed, like, I don't know if you guys hear, but she pointed like this. And she pointed at my parents, like in the direction of my parents' bedroom. And I was like, I'm like, Gigi, where's mom? And she, again, did not answer me. She just stood there and pointed at my parents' door. And I'm like, okay. And I went to put my feet down on the carpet. She smiled at me. And then she completely disappeared. And I'm like, the hell just happened? Like, blink of an eye, gone. Like, no mist, nothing. Just like, boom. She was there 1 second, and then again, she wasn't. So I was like, what the hell? And of course, I walk out in the hallway, and I'm like, Gigi, nobody's there. So I was like, what the hell? So I go to my parents' bedroom. I open the door. My mom is on the phone, and she is just bawling her eyes out. And my dad's sitting up next to her, rubbing her back. And I'm like, Mom, what's going on? What happened? Like, what the heck happened? And I'm like, and I was just about to tell her that Gigi was in the hallway. And she goes, baby, Gigi passed away. Yeah. My grandmother died. My great-grandmother died. And I saw her standing in my doorway. So that explains the hospital gown. She died and she came to me. I like to believe that she left this world and the first thing that she did was smile at me to tell me that she was okay. And I'm getting a little emotional, but that gave me closure. I still miss her and everything, but that gave me closure because I know she's with her husband, my great-grandpa Alan, and she's with her mother and her father. And obviously it was a peaceful passing and she accepted it. And like I said, she was well into her 80s. Sorry. But yeah, I like to think that she passed and she came to me that night to let me know that she was okay and that everything was fine and she was okay with dying. And I feel honored that, sorry, I feel honored that she did that because like I said, that gave me closure to know that it was okay and that she was fine. And I did tell my grandpa and my Grammy and my parents this. Now, whether you want to believe in it or not, like I said, you don't have to. But my grandpa and my gram had a similar experience with one of her brothers, actually, similar to my experience. So she believed me right off the bat that my great-grandmother did pay me a visit. And I haven't had really a dream like that since then. But I just find it strange that she died. Like the same night that I supposedly had a nightmare or a dream. You know what I mean? Like, I feel that it's way too much of a coincidence to, bypass each other. Like, that links to me. So yeah, so that's 4 scary stories, you guys, and that's my personal ghost story. And like I said, I still don't know to this day if it was a ghost story or not, but I believe I did see my grandmother that night. Yeah. So, and I don't have any more to give you. That's my only ghost story. But yeah, so if you guys like more stuff like this, send me in some of your ghost stories. Like, that would be sick. I can read them. I like that kind of stuff. Like, I like to see if anybody else had a similar experience to mine. So yeah, shoot me a message. If you actually want my email, you can email. I can leave my email in the description. But my email is amharmon2015@gmail.com. So again, I will leave my email in the description, but if you want to email me your ghost stories, I will pick a selected few of them and I'll read them in my next video. So it was awesome, you know, getting back in contact with you guys. Like I said, I'm sorry if it's been a long time. We've just been busy as usual. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Have a good day. Bye.